Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you scared? Are you scared?
Maybe.
I feel like the odds were against us getting this done.
I bro, I woke up. It was like 1 a.m. I look over at my phone and I saw your messages like everything all right. And I was like, it's Tuesday, right? I'm like squinting, I'm looking at the message. I'm like, oh motherfucker. I'm going like dying. I have Crohn's. So like yesterday was first time in a while. I'm on new medicine. So it was the first time I got hit with it. And like, oh yeah, I was not in a good. I think it was like going to 8 o'clock. I think I ended up passing out.
It's all good, man. I was worried about you because we were talking in the afternoon, and I'm like, all right, he was like responsive, and then you weren't even reading the messages, and I'm like, oh man, I hope like nothing bad happened to him. Like, God forbid they got in a car accident
No,
or
no.
something happened to his family or something. I was like, oh, I was like genuinely worried.
Well, thankfully it was just my belly, but still, it's
You were the first guest to stand me up on a podcast.
that's not a good one to have.
Out of the 85 that I've done, this will be number 86. I've
Oh
never been
man,
stood up before. Here we are.
that one will keep between us.
Everyone knows. All five of my listeners know now that Eric from Traverse the Abyss stood me up.
I'm an asshole. My belly thumb.
I was stood up once, like in my young life on a date. I was 16 years old. So I mean, I guess that's all right. I was stood up by two people in my life. A girl when I was 16 and Eric from Traverse the Abyss.
It's that lasting imprint now. It's there.
I'll be on my deathbed. I'm like, God damn it, Eric. I'm sure I'll get stood up again. You're not the first, you won't be the last, I'm sure.
I usually have good comebacks, but I don't this time because I just feel like an ass.
Well, that's funny because then like tonight I was like, hey, I need like 10 extra minutes. It ended up being like 20 because I was like put my kid down to bed, and then I had some poops. So I took some poops. And then we hooked up and you were in your car because you just got done with band practice because you're in a band and we're going to talk about that. And audio wasn't great because, cell phones are tough. Maybe you're in the woods, but now you're home and we're doing it. We're live now.
Yeah, I figured once I was like, I only live like 10-15 minutes home. I'm like, I have already just clicked my lights on. I'm already set up for my stream gear.
That's sweet. I did a podcast once with a band from Michigan, their young band called Frame 42. And they were in their basement and the audio kept cutting out. And like we tried going through it. It was probably 40 minutes or so. And I got done and I tried listening back to it. I'm like, this is terrible. Like I cannot personally publish this. And like, they're a young band. They're like 16, 17, 18, like 20 years old. I'm like, I don't want this to come off bad for you guys either because like they were really good. So we just did it again. So
trial and error, right?
Yeah, it's all good, man. But how you doing? We got lots to talk about. I think you got some new music coming up from Traverse the Abyss. The new segment that I have, Take a Shot, brought to you by the TheVspot Bar in Scranton, where listeners and fans of the podcast kind of get involved and ask some questions for our friend Eric here. So we'll get to that too. But what's up, man?
Busy.
Yeah.
Busy. Yeah, once COVID happened, it was like we had all these cool shows lined up and everything, and then it was like, no, you're not doing that, which allowed us to step back and kind of focus our eyes on like the internet side of things. Like we just let's start the website, let's get merch cycling, like people know to go there to buy our merch or know there to snag our tickets. So like we really want to emphasize that. So like a lot of inner working things. We worked with like a couple agencies because like it was something we always like talked about. We just never dove into it. So it was like now seems to be the time kind of deal. So during that time, we're going through member change as well. One of our guitar players left at that time, so we were doing like in quarantine like tryouts. So it was like super weird. But Mike knew Jamie prior, and he was like, my buddy, I think he's interested. I think he'll be a good fit. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna go on your word for this one, because we didn't promote it as much as we should have, but there also wasn't a astounding amount of people that wanted to try out or like that met the criteria. It's like, oh, I could play, but I don't drive, and it's like that one we need you to be mobile, you know. So it's like all right. And Jamie ended up working out, so he ended up coming in towards like the end of a couple of those songs and like splashing his flavor throughout. And that led to the upcoming EP, Smiling in the Suffering, on the 17th. Actually, give me two. Let me grab that.
Sweet.
One of these with me at all times. I actually have the physical copy of it here.
Oh, nice.
So that was where Jamie came in, was like, we just finished 2019 was Second Place Superstar. That was the single. And then we won this battle of the bands, and we got to track our song Ghost. That was like one of the prizes. We won a grand, and we got to track a song for free at the studio in West Virginia. So it was like
sweet
little treat. And that Ghost we dropped right in the beginning of 2020. So we were riding off the two singles, and Ghost was the first song in like years that we did that was just the four of us, because our guitar player at the time, he was out. And so Jamie came in and he started adding his stuff onto Faucet Mouth and Only Human, which were the two pioneer singles for it. Funny enough, this whole EP is kind of like a chef's salad. Like it's a little bit of this, a little bit. It's all of our singles that we've released from 2021, kind of smush plus one unreleased track. So a little something for those who've been following us, so it's not the same stale bread.
There you go.
A little something new to consume. But this is this guy is the compilation of our newest work with Jamie coming in, which he kind of came in towards the end, so it's just kind of sprinkling in the little bits of his flavor compared to where we're always, Mike pumps out songs like nothing. We come down, he's like, I got like 3 different riffs. Will you guys like these? So it's like, oh, we're working on that one, right? So we have new stuff that's in the kitchen now that we're putting on the chopping block, that has like the full on right from the roots influence from Jamie and Mike. Because now it's like we've had rhythm guitar players and stuff prior, but this is our like one of our first times where we have someone that's helping writing from like the stem of the song, because it usually goes, Mike has a riff, spits that to Dave starts laying down the drums, rhythm person fills up, bass kind of finds that nice bridge between the kick drum and what the rhythm or lead guitars are playing. So it's nice to have like, it brings that atmosphere while the rhythm will be hanging big chords. Mike will be doing these wrists trying to give himself carpal tunnel. So everything now it has a lot more double guitar dynamic and stuff. Keeping to our sound words, you can't pin down one exact genre influence. Like everything in the newest stuff, to even the Smiling and the Suffering coming out in June, like Faucet Mouth, for the listeners, it's more thrashy, groovy. It has its heavy points. Only Human, I think, is a little bit most of the modern metal. Trainwreck is like beat down deathcore. That's like our heaviest point we've gotten so far. Frankenstuffle is almost like rap metal, new metal. And then the unreleased track 5 is Nemesis, which had the line from the song, the EP title Smiling in the Suffering, actually stems from that song. That one, I don't know, it's kind of like how Ghost was. It's very ambient, but it's really dark, evil, sinister sounding, and so keep that spectrum of being all over the place. So yeah, it was a mouthful. I drank a lot of caffeine today.
That's good. I'd rather you talk than me. I mean, you're why we're here. So, I mean, you've always had like, you mentioned sinister. Like, is a lot of your music geared towards that, or is just that is kind of the misconception that heavy metal kind of gets
Um, with us,
just by
kind
nature?
of, with us, it's kind of all over the place because we have some songs that play right into the we're the metal sinister evil band, anger, violence, and then there's songs like Only Human is very played onto like the nostalgic emotions of like cherishing the time that you have with people and that not everyone is going to be in your life forever. So I almost take like that a raw gut feeling like when I hear the song. Mostly it's once that guitar and drums start to come together, it's like something's painted in my head like, oh, this is more upbeat. Like some of our older stuff like Diamonds is a very self-empowering, you could do anything you put your mind to type song. And then there's Inner Demons, which is like, I'm gonna kill myself. So I mean, that's like my bipolarness shining there. But Blink is another one where it's like live right now, folk, like your life blinks before your eyes. So it's take advantage of where you're at. Like that's something I try keeping in my head too, is like as much as I'm excited for like the show on Sunday, it's like I can't wait. It's like I don't want to rush it because the faster I say I'm wishing I can't wait for this to come, the faster I'm pushing my life by. And then I'm looking back and it's like, oh, we're going towards the halfway point of 2022 already.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the show that we're playing with Attila that was in March. And I'm so excited to play the Chaos and Carnage show that just got sold out at Reverb at the end of the month. So it's just like, I'm naturally excited for that stuff, but I'm trying to stay in the moment and capitalize in where I'm at.
How many shows have you played since the pandemic kind of hit in early 2020?
I think in the pandemic year, I think pre-pandemic, we only got to do like 3 shows. We were just starting to kick back up. Our bass player at the time had a slight tear in his ACL, so he was out for surgery. So that kind of worked out with COVID, and then he kind of came back in. We did like 3 gigs towards like the end of the year. It was weird because it was the whole like the one was outside, so everyone's like spaced out. And it's like the way they promote it, it's like, okay, yeah, this seems like a good way to go about it. And then you get there and it's like, it's a little sketchy. I don't know about that. So it was like, we're gonna work the internet game. We got the Faucet Mouth video. We were prepping for that. So we want to kind of lay off. And like there's the one show we did, it was towards the end of the year, like right before another surge happened. And it was like there's supposed to be another one, like, oh, you have your thing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I just remember the drummer mentions it. He's like, I remember the guy was going around. Anyone that came in the show, they got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because you had to have something to eat. It wasn't a packed show, but it was funny because all the people had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on them. And I was just like, I'm going to hang out outside. I'll sling merch outside. I'm like, I'm just going to. And then we flipped around 2021. We did there's the special one we did for the Faucet Mouth release. That was at the TheVspot. We teamed up with Ionic Development so they could do, because I've been doing the Twitch streaming. So it's like, click. I'm like, why don't I live stream our shows? And then what I do on the other side is I'll go back and I'll cut. So like we played with Toothless. So I'll timestamp their start to end, cut that, and then I download an email to them. So it's like, there's a 5-second clip from that show that you liked. You have that for content. You want to put your whole setup. You have that for content. You want to take chop song by song by song and slowly leak out your set. Like you have all the content. So I was like, why don't I do this? So we did that for the Faucet Mouth release. Towards the summer, stuff started picking up, but not a crazy lot. The big show kicks back in around October, because that's when we played with Attila. That's when we got to play like a concert again, was the Attila show at Reverb, and that was October 2nd. So that's around in 2021. So that's around the time that things started getting back into swing. Like we see a lot more bands like independent touring, more the national acts starting to do their runs again. And then it's been weird. Like we can play out. We have all the stuff. It's just like our gears are all turning in different directions to make the machine go forward. So like we're harnessing where we're at. Like we're going through a member switch right now, which we have 3 different fill-ins. So it's like we're gonna still keep playing out because we're trying to do basically as little hometown shows like as we can, make them something nice and important. And then besides that, we're working the promoters getting on this concerts. Like we just did another Attila show, but that one was in Harrisburg. Now we got Born of Osiris and Veil of Maya on Sunday in Easton. Then the following Saturday we're with Suicide Silence and Carnifex. That one's sold out. That's at Reverb. So we're trying to. I'm like a bird right in their ear. They announced that show. They probably get a message 35 seconds later from me like, "Yo, is there any room on that?" Like I'm annoying, and I would tell them straight. I would shake hands with you. I'm like, "Hi, I'm gonna be a bug on." You ever have that pimple on your ass that you can't pop? Yeah, that's me. I'm gonna be there. But we will come correct. We will bring people. We will bring you your money, and you will have people happy. So it's like we got that nice triangle where you win, I win, and everybody wins in between.
Right.
It's good. So shows weren't. Now that once we drop this, that's from there to like Halloween, we're just boom, 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 boom. I'm filling up weekends as fast as I could, but like the dad thing is a pain. Not a pain in a beautiful way.
I understand.
Like dad brain. You got it's like scatterbrain. So I'm doing like dad, dog, band, manager. Like I have a lot going on, which is the reason we worked with these agencies and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to be rude, but a lot of the stuff they're offering, I'm like, I fucking do it myself. You know?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And it's like, it's not like they're crazy expensive. And it was just like, which is a realization to me. It's like, I'd be putting in work. Like, damn, like if you're charging someone to do that service, and that's something I do naturally because I'm nerd. You know, I nerd out and I watch like Burstamo is one of my favorite YouTube channels. All they talk about is algorithms of social media and how to market and release your music. Oh my God, I nerd out awful over that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Real bad. So like just in the retrospect. So now I'm like, I have the reins started for my own little stuff. And it's just, I don't know. Something I went from doing like, I was slinging phones for a while and I was making really freaking good money on it because I'm very talkative. So flipping phones, and then I was just like, but I didn't have time I wasn't watering my gardens. It was so consuming that I wasn't getting to do as much as I wanted with like the band or my other projects and everything. And then like now I work at a mom and pop print shop making t-shirts, and it's like,
are you really?
Yeah.
Where at?
I walk out of my front door, I turn left, I walk like a block and a half, and I'm there.
Where do you work?
What's that?
Where do you work?
It's called Magnum Screening.
Screening.
It's been around for like 30 years in Oliphant. No, half the people don't even know it's around. They do like the schools, like baseball teams and small stuff.
Well, I figured I'd ask because I was like, I work at a print shop too.
You Axelrad, right?
Yeah.
But now that I'm there, it's like I'm helping someone that I like actually make their money. And now it has me like in this great headspace where it's like, oh, maybe I could become I'll enter my final form as the metalcore vocalist and I'll finally have my clothing line. But like, it has me start thinking stuff like that. Like, now I'm like, I'm able to focus well. Like when I was slinging the Verizon phones, it was just like, I had good money, but like I had no time or energy. Now it's like on the opposite. It's like, I just want to be making money off anything that I enjoy doing. So it's like, I enjoy listening to music and band stuff. So it's like, okay, how many as an entertainer, just like with streaming, they're like, oh dude, you probably make a killing on Twitch and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's like 9 different incomes broken down. It's like, okay, how many people are running ads? How many people cheered? How many people donated? How many people subscribed, Prime subscriptions, bought merchandise? Like the list goes on. It's like, it's same thing with almost all of entertainment, same music. I mean, bands, it's pretty bare bones. You make your money off streams, CD sales, and shows. Like CD/merch and shows like
Right.
that. There's not a whole chops and pickings, but it's how many ways you could combine that, like doing a band Twitch and doing stuff where you could revenue. Like I tease my guys. I'm like, wow, Dave is to toot his horn. Dave's pretty good with cook, so I tell him, I'm like, why don't you do a cooking one? I think there's the stigma still for Twitch that it's the video game platform, not the what it is now is essentially just a live stream platform. So you could do whatever you want.
Is that what it is? I mean, I've learned more in this conversation about Twitch than I've known before.
Yeah, basically it's a live stream service where you could do whatever. Like it was built off gaming, but people do music stuff on there. People do cooking, people do fitness, just chatting, like venting mental health kind of like stuff. The revenues for that, once you become an affiliate, so you need to meet like 3 criteria. You need to stream like 4 nights out of the month, have 50 followers and an average of 3 people that watch. Like they're the other thing with Twitch is all their averages are cut by 5-minute intervals. So sometimes a really short stream could make your numbers look better than a longer stream, or vice versa. Your longer stream, you have that wider window of being live for people to come in, because with the streaming community, at the end of your stream, it's complimentary to raid. So basically, I'm done. I'm retired for the night. I'm tired as heck. I see Johnny's live. I'm going to take my 20 viewers and we're going to go right over to you. So it's kind of like passing the ball. So you have being live longer, you have a more opportunity that you could potentially get rated. But subscriptions, donating, which it's and then you get your ads. But ads, people are like, oh, you probably make the money on the Twitch ads, and it's like, yeah, like a couple cents, depending on how many viewers you got. But it's not.
Yeah,
it all goes into that whole mess of. I make way more off one person buying one of my t-shirts. Like I have a whole merch line that I'm starting just for like my stream. Like this one's
that's cool.
The gamer. They're like tarot cards.
Yeah, that's neat.
And then it throws maybe I guess where I get that made. The same place I make my cash. That's
not Axelrad, that's for sure.
The other one is Traverse merch. If you go on our website, traversetheabyss.com, every shirt there. Ooh, that was a nice whistle. Every shirt on there is like made from the shop, and then any alteration to it is done by me. Like we do right now. You know what? I'll just show it up.
Yeah, let's see it. I want to see it.
So like you go to our merch table. These are personally made by me. I take ours and then I just I do the bleach.
Oh yeah, I just
almost
saw
like
those.
The tie-dye.
Yeah, it's like a reverse tie-dye or something like that.
Yeah. So like I've been doing a lot of crazy tie-dye jobs myself. Like I get the basic print done. I'll do like white t-shirt, black ink, and then I'll get the tie-dye kits and just
right.
I'll do my thing. That's the best time. Or like I'll hang out with grandma. I'll just twist the shirts while I'm hanging out with her.
Sure.
Little things.
Hustling, man. Hustling.
That's right. I'm trying to just keep this good positive flow going and harness my self-worth and try to make my dollars off things I enjoy.
Yeah. Well, there's that saying that do something you love and you never work a day in your life or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, good for you. That Twitch is interesting. Like Justin from Ionic Development, he does a stream. So
those are the guys to thank for any of the Traverse the Abyss live shows that get streamed on my channel.
Justin and his team. You mentioned 2 of my sponsors, Justin and his team at Ionic Development. You mentioned the VSpot, Vinny and Frank. They are awesome. They always support music in this area. Yeah, and it. Unfortunately, heavy metal and hardcore music, they don't really have. There's not a lot of venues that give you guys a place to perform, and Vinny and the VSpot is definitely one of those places. And you talked about Faucet Mouth. You released a video for that. I think it was during the pandemic.
Mhm.
A lot of action on that. You had like 35,000 views on that.
Yeah,
And that looked like a lot of fun to make.
yeah. We ended up landing. Well, it was one nice part of the press is they landed us a metal injection write-up, which was cool. It said Scranton metal band releases funny video. It was like we're like, this is fucking this is awesome. It's like one sentence, and that's like shout out to Rich from NEPA scene. It's like, could you give us a write up for this? You get like a paragraph, nice detailed and everything. It's like, yes, thank you. Why don't these major places like and publicists like why can't they even touch your shoes, dude? They can't even shine your shoes. Rich is another gem in this scene.
Yeah, for
Same
sure.
thing with Ionic Development, VSpot. Like they know I love them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a bird. I'm like the pimple on their ass. I am so annoying to them. Well,
I'm sure
actually, I
they
got to be annoying to Justin and those guys, anyways, because I mentioned we're playing with Born Osiris on Sunday.
So
Now,
yeah,
we're in
that's this Sunday. That's the 15th. This will probably be uploaded after that show is already passed, just to give listeners a time frame. So if you missed them at that show, I think you have a show the following weekend, so you can talk about that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. That's yeah, next weekend is the 21st. That's the Chaos and Carnage at Reverb, which is sold out. We did have 2 tickets since this will be prior. We had 2 tickets up for raffle. Do I got them here? No, they're hiding on me. But we had the 2 tickets up for raffle, and they're $52 before the sellout, because now you know people will be scalping it.
Mm-hmm.
And all they gotta do is drop $5, maybe $10 on pre-ordering this. Send us a screenshot to prove it. $5 for a digital, $10 for a physical, and then we have bundles where it's the EP art. You get digital download, you get the CD, you get a T-shirt, you get a poster, you get patches. This is the first time we ever had patches on anything, and a sticker. So you get a nice little bundle,
nice
and we'll
bundle,
probably
yeah.
throw some other goodies in there too. I pick up on a Sweetwater. If you ever get gear from them, they always give you little candies. So we're like, oh, that's a great idea. So throw a small little mini bag of M&Ms in with it.
That's all. No, I mean, I love like whenever I order from anywhere, like name a business, and if they throw in like a sticker for free, it's always like a cool like little cool thing.
I have, besides stickers and stuff, I have a mountain of the Traverse business cards.
Cool.
So anything I mail out, there's always business cards. If it's a envelope with tickets, anything bigger, yeah, stickers. I have keychains. So like, yeah, I'll always goodies. Another amazing one that was like in front of my face. A friend mentioned it, and I was just like, and it goes that extra mile. A thank you note.
Okay, handwritten.
Nice. Thank you for your purchase and your support.
That goes a long way.
I saw one of my mutuals on Facebook talking about that, and I was just like,
easy.
That's so genius. Because it's personable too. It's not typed out, you know. You get to see my chicken scratch.
Right. Is it similar to the band logo?
Yeah.
The writing?
Yeah, pretty cool. But
you're big on TikTok too, huh?
Starting to.
Yeah.
I'm I got 3 followers.
Yeah.
That's a whole new thing I'm doing. It's I do taste tests. Okay. And I taste it, and then I ask somebody else how it tastes. Like I got my buddy with it earlier. It was one of those. It was a Fanta dragon fruit or whatever. So I was like cutting the content. And I'm like, blah blah blah. We're trying this out. So how'd that taste? What are you talking about, dude? I got like 3 followers on TikTok. You better come up with a better answer. So it's stupid, but I like being silly. I like doing I tried a couple nights with like stand up, so it's a nice jump into that. Because same with Faucet Mouth, because all the metal bands for the most part are Mr. Serious Tough Guy, breakdowns, heavy, toilet bowl noises, but like we're really goofy. And it's like, you know, I think that it's helping because we did that one as goofy. Then we did Only Human, like I mentioned earlier, is more of like an emotional song. So like we did a little more of a heartfelt video for that one. And then we followed up Faucet Mouth with Franken Shuffle right for Halloween. And we kept that was another funny video. And it's like those are the ones that are sending it. And we're doing that Louder Than Life battle of the bands.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I know that there was some voting going on. Today is Tuesday. I think you were doing some voting on Sunday night.
Yep. Maybe Sunday. Now that this will be passed, it'll be for where we are. It'll be this upcoming Thursday is I believe the final round that fans are voting on, and then Sunday all crossed, everything goes as planned, would be the final four.
Okay.
So
hopefully by the time people that are listening to this, you are in the final.
Hopefully we're celebrating.
Okay.
Hopefully by the time people are we're the May bracket. We're the band for the May bracket. Hopefully by the time this is out. And even if we're not, all the other bands that are in this are really, really good. So, but positivity and full strike ahead. We're
absolutely
May bracket winner.
And this gives you the opportunity to play at that festival, louder than life, right?
Yeah, I believe it is it's the battle for the big stage. So I think it's like a main stage slot or something like that. It's been a weird 2 weeks, well, 2.5, wherever this drops. But I saw my one friend, he's a promoter in Harrisburg area, and there's a couple bands that I've been seeing their names on, and he was like, I saw them promoting that they're streaming the show on Twitch, but I just really didn't I skimmed past it being ignorant. And it was like the day before the show, he posted, he's like, yo, he's like, I don't know how anybody, he's like, put a tag with like 60 of us on it. And he's like, I don't tag anybody who might find benefit in this. But at this show tomorrow that they're live streaming, it's going to be on Danny Wimmer Presents, who he does like Rock Lahoma, Rock on the Range, Louder Than Life, like any Sonic Temple, like any of those big festivals, that's like the dude who does it. Mm-hmm. So it's like a representative from that company's there. The owner of Blackcraft is going to be there. And he mentioned something else. And I was just like, this is probably like people I should be trying to like talk to and make a face with. But Harrisburg from Scranton is 2 hours. And the other fun part, it was already on a Thursday. So I'm like, I work till 5. The show starts at like 6:30. So I'm like, even because it's only a couple minute walk from the shop, but I'm covered in paint thinner and the whole work. I'm cleaning the screens out with the emulsion and everything. So it gets, you don't want to be sitting in that all day.
No.
So it's like by the time I wash off, throw something in my stomach and hit the road, I'm just like, get gas. I'm falling behind. Mm-hmm. So I worked out with my boss because we're at practice. It was on a Thursday. It was Wednesday night at practice. I saw his status and I was like, just a feeling in the belly. I told him, I'm like, yo, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to go. And they're like, okay, I have work. I'm not able to get out earlier or whatever. And I'm like, you guys don't worry about it. I'm gonna figure. I'm just riding my gut on this, and so yeah, called wifey, to explain. I was like, hey, I'm gonna take a road trip tomorrow, just so you're not strangling me or castrating me. And she was like, yo, if you're feeling that, do it. So it was like, I talked to the boss the next morning. He would let me leave an hour earlier. So I got ready as fast as I could. I shot down to there, and I didn't know who was who. It was actually a pretty decently crowd for a Thursday night. But I met up with Brutality. I love those guys. They're another band. They're young. They rip. Mm-hmm. Same with the Nail Bite. They're like 14. Nuts.
Yeah.
She does death growls like I do, and it's just I wish I was doing it at your age. But I got to meet all those guys, and it was cool because it was Facebook mutuals or whatever. So it was actually get to introduce Bryce from Brutality's 17, and he's towers over me. I'm not that tall of a guy, so he's just mountain. But I'm just doing I'm passing up business cards, stickers, just doing my usual. And how much am I allowed to swear on here? So I know how to
Dude,
censor.
it's the internet.
God,
No one
cool.
cares. Wild
Yeah,
West.
fucking when we rock it, because I have the Scranton slang. So I was walking around and I saw these two dudes standing there. I recognized one was Josh Balls.
Uh-huh.
And I saw this other dude with like blonde hair and tattoos. And I was like, you look like somebody kind of important. So I walked up to him and I was like, I'm sure you guys don't probably give a fuck at all and probably don't care, but I didn't drive down here 2 hours for nothing. So I'm going to pass out my band's. Here's our cards or whatever. And the dude looked at me and he's like, actually, he's like, I give a fuck. He's like, actually, I give a lot of fucks, to be honest. He's like, I do the whole stream on there where we play unsigned bands and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, then you would probably be a very good person to hand this to. And I got the new CD and hand him and stickers or whatever and chat. And he was like, yo, dude, he's like, we'll spin your stuff on there. Just come on and hang out on the stream. Let us know. And I was like, all right. So I chatted with him and turns out that's the owner of Blackcraft, like the full-on owner, Bobby. And then it was after the end of the night, they had the touring bands play. It was right at the end of the stream, and I see him smile, and he looks over. He's like, "Yo, you come here." And he's like, gives him mic. He's like, "Yo, plug your band." So I got to do an on-the-spot interview. That channel minimum has like 300 live viewers at all times. So it's just like these are brand new people that were on there. So I knew of the podcast because a band called Enox that we're friends with. I saw them doing, it was a Rock on the Range, and you got the slot with Escape the Fate. That's how I heard of it originally with them. But I know, again, being ignorant, just didn't dive into it. Bad headspace. Now I'm good. And so I was like, all right, yeah, well, I'll check it out Sunday. And so we're down at my grandparents' Sunday. And I go on the stream and they're like they're starting to check out all these bands and stuff like that. So I see all the bands like spamming their name in the comments. And I was like, yo, babe, I'm like, fire up Twitch. I'm like, hop in the chat and just fire up the band name. And like, there you barely saw our name. It was like going through it. And then like the dude just stops and he was like, Josh, he was like, Boss, what was that band name that we met in Harrisburg? What was that dude's band's name? And he's like, oh, Traverse the. He was like, all right, we're gonna shout them out. And I was just like, damn. I was changing a light bulb for my grandma, and I'm like, and I hear that, and my hands start shaking. And I'm like, and she's like, oh, you all right, honey? I'm like, whoo. So I ran outside. I was like, hold on, give me 2 minutes. I ran outside, and they're like, all right, we're gonna play your song. And the guy at the host of the stream, he was like, I don't even think they submit it. And I was like, they put the command, so the submit button came up, and I was like, okay. So I filled out the stuff, and they're like, they did the thing, and then it turns out it's for a big slot for Louder Than Life. So to a completely unknown crowd, they played like a minute and a half of our song and had them vote if they would like to see us on a bigger stage. And that's how we got into it. That's so awesome. I'm like, that like 4 days was right there. And then learning how it goes, it was the round 1 bracket, then there's the Sweet 16, then there's the Elite 8, which at this current real time where I'm talking, that is where we're currently in, is the Elite 8, and then there's the Final 4. And obviously if we're on that, got to that point now, like the first band we went against, we were out to eat, and I'm sitting there and I'm all like shake. I probably looked like I was on drugs because I'm sitting there, I'm like shaking. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so fucking nervous. And then they showed the brackets, and the band we were against is the number. They have like a podcast playlist thing, and the band that our first bracket was against was the number 1 band on the charts. And I'm just like, oh, I'm familiar with the name. They're really good. I know those guys really like them. They're like really active on the channel. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, this we're gonna put up a fight, and we pulled through. And that's why the Faucet Mouth is just a funny video, and they're even saying on the stream, they're like, I think people like the silliness, the funness of the video on top of the music. Like, so it's like, Rinsed and repeat. We used that to enter it. Then we did round one, and then we won round two with Faucet Mouth again. I said it was the third time's a charm. We're doing Franken Shuffle, the follow up, the Halloween one for this one. But we won round two, the Sweet 16. We won by one vote, which
Wow.
we keep telling everybody, like, literally every vote counts, because band A is bringing their fans, band B is bringing their fans, then C is the natural people who come in to watch. So it's like, there's the trolls. They're probably just sitting, okay, well, this band has less votes, I'm just gonna vote for them, because like we were down. My heart did a sad drop in my balls, and I was like, fuck. I'm like, we at least got this far. That's good. We at least got attention on us. And the trophy thing came up, and it was 124 to 123. And I fucking jumped up and spin. I was like, my fucking heart's like, so now we're going into the Elite Eight. So now I'm even more like, and then the most stressful part of the whole shebang is Sunday, because that is the final four, which I'm putting all my faith in. It's a live performance.
Okay.
I don't know how long. I don't know if it's like, I would say max would be like 10 minutes, like 3 songs.
So you play live on the stream?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rewind back like 10 minutes. We're playing with Born of Osiris on Sunday.
Okay.
The time that our set is from the time that the stream starts is like 40 minutes.
Okay.
So that we aren't not able to stream our set right from the concert.
That'd be cool.
As cool as it would, that's not rock and roll.
Right.
Rock and roll, you got to grit.
Yeah.
So now we are working our ass off to set up our stream spot so we could perform. We have our people there to work our merch table. We are physically going to have to move ourselves to another location in Easton. We're not even local. We're like completely in foreign waters to us, to stream possibly one song in an interview.
Right.
So like there's a strip of bars and pizza places. So like we're gonna be calling them tomorrow. Just like, here's the whole situation. We are playing a concert next door. We'll have a bunch of people there that will come buy your pizza and your drinks. Like, the stream itself for the voting is from 6:30 to 8:30. So like 2 hours. We will probably literally need to be allowed maybe 10 minutes, 3 songs, I'm guessing, at a max. So I'm trying to find the closest place that we could at least set up and that has internet. That's the other problem, is that it has some kind of internet connection. Worst case is our friend who's a promoter in Central PA, like Allentown area too. Since Easton and Allentown are only neck and neck, we might have a group. This is where I gotta cash in the favor for Justin and see if how much cash we have to throw them. Like, if we could hypothetically, once we land what venue we're able to do this, have group B, the stream team, pre-set up the computer or whatever mics they need while we perform. We have our people there to keep our stuff on lock, sell our merch. We get in, drive maybe the 20 minutes over to Allentown to go do that, and then jump back over, recollect. Like, it's so stressful. But the reward,
you're stressing me out. I'm not even involved.
The reward we could gain out of it is incredible, though, because like all these bands in this Blackcraft and the DW Presents and everything, they're regulars in there. I went on, I did an interview for a minute and a half. I went on the chat. All the people were like, that guy talked really well. That was entertaining. What band was he from and all that? And now we're in the mix and we're heading basically towards the finals out of nowhere. So it's just like, it was a good feeling to trust my belly and drive 4 hours by myself.
Yeah. I mean, you said before, you're a lot going on. Your life's not boring.
No, I usually sleep like 4 hours a night.
That's it?
Yeah.
Damn.
I wake up at 5:45, 6:30, somewhere between there. I wake up, I do my morning pee, I brush my teeth, I drink water, and then I exercise. I play guitar. I read a book, like at least a chapter of my book, and that's all before work. Just because if I don't do that before work, then I don't take the time in the rest of my day to do it. And like my coworkers are like, how do you exercise? And I'm like, bro, even if you stretch your body out, just do a couple stretches and do 5 push-ups. That's 5 more than if you didn't.
Right.
And your body, that's that little 5 that's going to get your heart going. The blood's going to start pumping. You hydrate yourself because of the water. Don't look at that's the other one. I can't look at my phone until after I'm done like reading my chapter of my book. It helps my mind settle and like almost meditate, plan my day ahead before. Social media makes my head feel like a hurricane. I'm taking in so much information and processing it and thinking of like, I just feel like a swirl in my head. And like when I read, it just feels calm.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I love it. I'm a real big sucker. I love reading stuff like Harry Potter. And I'll read the book and then I'll go watch the movie and just, how did my imagination play this versus the directors and little things like that. So I'm like, ooh, I'm a sucker for nostalgic stuff as well. I live in my childhood. I'm a big child.
You're like a hurricane. I love that. That's funny.
It does. You ever feel that? Just scrolling. You just it just feels like so much information because you watch 2 seconds of a clip of this and then you see someone's comment and you think, oh, well, that's stupid. Or then you think of this and you're like, oh, that guy's an asshole. And then it's, oh, I really agree with that. And then it's just
when it's like, and it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's
boom,
like
boom. You're across the board. And then you're doing the shuffle. All right, that's enough. Facebook. I go on Instagram. If I'm done with that, then I hop on Twitter. Then I go on there and then you go on TikTok and then you go back to Facebook. And it's that's the other, I'm trying to break that for myself. As much as I need to be on social media to be promoting my stuff and finding new opportunities, I'm trying to mostly be on there to post with the purpose.
Okay.
I catch myself scrolling for no reason. Bad boy. What the fuck you doing? You are wasting valuable time. Versus, okay, I need to let you guys know that our EP Smiling in the Suffering is coming out Friday, June 17th, and we're streaming the release show from the VSpot on my twitch.tv/Eric_Abyss.
Ooh, there you go. What was the date on that again?
June 17th.
June 17th.
Friday.
VSpot.
Friday. Popko wants to get down on Friday.
I do. I like getting down. June 17th, VSpot. Write it down. But yeah, lots going on, man. And I feel like you got a lot more to do tonight in the next what's like 10, almost 10:30 now. You got a few more hours before you get to shut it down and go to bed for your 3 hours. But what do you say we let some fans take a shot and ask you some questions?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. Well, this is a cheat question because a gentleman by the name of David, he asked, how would you get such a cute drummer? I won't tell you David's last name.
Oh, well, David, let's see. It's like it's like the Gremlins. It's cute and adorable, but if you give it liquor past 2:00 in the morning, it becomes the Goblin, and then you have issues. Dave, the one show he got a lot of too drunk, and we're at a Waffle House. We're in Virginia or something like that. We're at a Waffle House, and our fill-in bass player Nick, he's like real quiet and reserved and everything. And he didn't the whole time. He's like, I don't want Waffle House, and I'm hungry, so we're looking. Mike's like, well, there's a Waffle House 2 miles away. There's a Waffle House 10 miles away. That's the only thing available. So finally, yada yada. We finally go in. They're like, you know what? Dave's too drunk. I'm not dealing with them. I'm like, I'll babysit the Goblin. The Goblin's out. It's past. He drank liquor past his time. He's in full form. He's eating grits and he's just pouring sugar on them and he's drunkenly slamming the sugar down every time. And Nick's all quiet. Do you mind not putting the sugar down so hard? And you have Goblin Dave. Okay. oh, and it fucking shatters.
Oh no.
We're just like Nick, the fucking glass went in his waffles and everything.
No.
We're like, that's glass. No, it's not glass in your waffles. No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go sit on the bus. We had to fucking clean it all up, and Dave's just gone. So, as adorable as he is, don't give him liquor past 2 a.m.
Past 2. Jeez, yeah, that's illegal. Can't do that. Another question we have from Tara Harrison, aka Kennedy Kai. She was a former radio host in Northeastern Pennsylvania. She asks, would you like to marry her?
Well, I could check that with wifey. We could have possible thruples seem to be the new way of the era. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah, well, Tar, he'll ask for permission. And you can listen to the podcast episode I did with her. Her episode was episode 51. So if you want to get to know Tara, aka Kennedy Kai, you can check that out. And Bobby Falvo, he asks, what record from your youth is most memorable to you, and did it shift your course of passion into heavy music?
Oh, there's a couple like good points I'd like, and like the becoming of me finding like music. The first CD I remember being obsessed with as a kid and like asking mom, like, yo, you gotta get me this, was Green Day's American Idiot. I remember that came out as like Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Longview is fucking way older, Holiday. Like seeing the songs, because I was starting to just watch all the music videos on MTV at that time. So it was like that, My Chemical Romance, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, and Dark White by him were like the first 3 CDs I was like obsessed with as a kid. And then the heaviness started like maybe a year after that. It was a wrestling pay-per-view, and I remember it clear as day. It was when they first started doing the Money in the Bank, and Edge cashed it in on John Cena after he had a elimination chamber match, and it was their rematch. It was at Royal Rumble, and they had Stricken by Disturbed as the theme song, and that was just like, yo, this is kick ass. And it was super memorable because I always liked Edge growing up, and I always was like, he always was like mid contender. So I was like the first time they put him in like championship spotlight. So I was like, oh fuck yeah, as a kid. So like I remember, Mom, can I get the new Disturbed CD? And I come home, and they're like, look, we got you this. So that started that. So shortly after that, I think it was System of a Down, Toxicity, which is still like front to back one of my all-time favorites. They kind of pioneered it, and then my buddy Patrick, he showed me Slipknot, and that's when the rabbit hole went like, it was like, what is this?
Yeah.
This something about this really radiates, which turns into like with my vocals and stuff. Everyone's like, why do you scream so much in your songs? And it's just like, I don't know, like all the bands growing up, that's how the music went, you know what I mean? Like there was like Disturbed had a lot more like clean and melodic stuff, but David Draymond still like this, like, yeah. So it was like, I don't know, getting into it, just that all the bands screamed, like especially when Slipknot was the favorite. So like Corey Taylor had that like real aggressive yell, and I'm like, this is like, yeah. And then around that, was like 12 at that time, and then about going towards 14, that's when I found like Suicide Silence and Whitechapel, Carnifex, like the deathcore stuff. And that's when it was like, this could get even heavier. Like, what is this? And like, so from there on, the extreme metal, and what solidified me always wanting to be a live musician like that, especially in like the metal. It was like I always had like growing up listening to like Sabbath, Metallica, Queen, stuff like that with my mom, Rolling Stones. I always would like daydream and pace around the house with just like me entertaining people. Like I always like making people laugh, being silly. I like entertaining with music. I enjoy, even with TikTok, you see, like I like acting. I like I'm bad for memorizing parts of like TV shows and movies and just reciting. It would be like, oh, remember this part, and I just verbatim just go through the script. But I always envisioned me doing that. But what really set it into motion was Mayhem Fest 2008 up on the mountain. It was Disturbed and Slipknot were the headliners. And I was just thinking to myself, I was in computer class. I was a freshman in high school. And I was like, I want to see Slipknot. They're my favorite band. I never saw them. I wonder when they're coming around. And I typed in a Slipknot concert, Scranton, PA, and it popped up. It was like August 3rd. My birthday's on the 15th. So it was like right around my birthday. It was like Disturbed, Slipknot, Suicide Silence, Machine Head. And I'm like, real? So I got tickets for my birthday, and that like sold the deal. Is this the opening? Like you kick off at like, yeah, be there at 11 o'clock in the morning. The first band is playing at like noon, but they still have like a sea of people. There was the Metal Militia were doing their dirt bike gigs off to the right. I remember because that was when I first heard Five Finger Death Punch. They had their Way of the Fist. Their first album was the only thing they had out, and they were playing, and they sound verbatim how they sounded on the CD. And I remember watching them. They're doing White Knuckles was the song, and off to the right, they're doing the Metal Militia tricks, like the backflips and everything on the dirt bikes. I'm drinking a can of Monster Energy, and I'm just like standing by merch tents and everything. I'm like, this is a thing. This is a thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of like made that like I need to do this. Like there's no other. This calling.
That's great. That's great. Did you are you a fan of Limp Bizkit?
Mm-hmm. I do.
We at the show this past weekend.
All praise our Lord and Savior Freddie D. Actually, I did not get to go as much as I'd like to. My monetary investments are kind of right now between like the band. We have the loan out for the bus because we got the school bus is retired. We have a new bus where we're adults. We have like bunks and a little mini fridge and stuff like that now. So like we have the loan that we're paying for the bus. Then we have to rent a room because none of us have suitable housing for band practices. Old school. Modern bands are smart and they have electric drum sets and they just put it in their ears like behind the gray.
Mm-hmm.
Will would always be like, all we hear in band practices. Besides that, everything's in the in-ears. But so it's like that, and then all the stuff for this weekend, like if we're doing that live stream, plus getting to the concert, merch orders, pre-orders, stuff for the new CDs, like it's so much cash. And
sure, man.
On my end, I'm trying to like start like almost like a label type thing, and clothing brands. I'm like,
I just asked because I was there, and I was a huge Limp Bizkit fan growing up in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, and I didn't know what to expect. I had zero expectations, and I'll tell you what, it was one of the best shows, the most fun shows I've been to in a long time. It was great.
That's Keith Perks was even posting. He was like, dude, it was a blast.
Yeah, I expected like him and Jason Reed Miller to shit all over it, just because I don't think Keith's into that kind of stuff, and Jason. I don't know if you know Jason or not, but he's just he's grumpy.
It's all good.
But when they were like, they were like loving it too. I'm like, wow, man, like maybe because I'm a fan of Creed too. Like I like Creed, I like Nickelback. So like,
me too.
People can kind of look at my taste in music and be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, his is questionable. Yeah. I'm the same way. I don't even care. Almost any band that people rag on, I'm like, yeah, but they're marketing geniuses.
Yeah.
Another one like Kiss and ICP.
Mm-hmm.
Both are like top tier marketers.
Yeah.
You find your logo, you have your emblem, and you put that everything. That's like Frank's Red Hot. You put that shit on everything.
Yeah.
Because they will go.
Yeah.
People like collecting weird fucking things.
Yeah.
So.
And I have one question to ask you about not music related. Well, kind of not. Britney Spears. Obviously, you're familiar with who she is, right?
Who's that?
Britney Spears.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Come on. Yeah.
Toxic.
What are your thoughts on her situation? I don't know if you follow her on Instagram. everyone was like, free Britney. And the whole time everyone's saying that, I'm over here like seeing what she's posting on Instagram, being like, maybe someone needs to watch over her. Not that I feel like anyone should be like, overseen and like, the whole conservatorship and all. I mean, not that I
I'm
agree
sure
with
you're all
that,
right.
but now that she's out of it and she's still posting these things, and now she's pregnant again with this, her fiance, and she's a little older. I'm like, maybe someone needs to like just be like, hey, maybe we need to pump the brakes a bit on these weird fucking pictures online and shit. Just Britney, calm down. Because now I see everyone that was like for free Britney, like now the comments are like, Britney, like let's chill.
You okay? I'm not
It's weird.
too up to speed on the whole thing. Like I said, like social media, I try to keep to just like posting with the purpose. I stick to my
Okay.
own fantasy realm. So like,
Sure.
but I do
Yeah, she
get
just
some giggles at the playbacks from the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. That's just
oh yeah.
they're it's ridiculous,
Do
and
you think
it's
she was
more
doing
than
coke?
likely. What's that?
You see the clip of like that looks like she's doing coke? Did you see
Oh
that?
yeah,
Do you think that's like what she was doing?
probably. I think celebrities are in a whole different realm. Like you're I don't. It's like a circus animal. You know what I mean? Like they're in you're in a bad environment. You're just doing press stuff and paparazzi constantly and just pressurized and being an artist. You know what I mean? Like I feel like as like a celebrity, like they're in their own like your brain got to be in some kind of
Yeah.
motion because like even on like a baby level with like what we do with the band, sometimes that shit gets fucking overwhelming. So I'm like that, and people get weird. Like I'll say a million times, people get weird. So like I sometimes they hear like the celebrity snapping and they're just going nutty, and I'm like, yeah, I think that comes with the territory. How many 90s rock singers now or like mid 2000s are like, oh yeah, they're in good shape.
Yeah.
Like what's oh my god. I mean, fucking brain. I'm very mad at myself for it right now. Fucking Motley Crue. Oh my god.
Tommy
Fucking
Lee.
yeah, he's just they're bad shape. Same with
Yeah.
Wes from Puddle of Mud. It's just
Oh
like you
yeah.
never hear anything like, oh, he's doing really great. It's like Wes got drunk and screamed at people at like, you know what I mean? It's like it's just, and I was saying, I think that area of like musicians like 90s into that mid 2000s, I think that's because that was before the internet game.
Yeah.
You know, you had one song and you're set. Like look at Hinder. They had like Lips of an Angel was like their big song, but now they're set. They could still tour now and not stadiums, but they're just still get booked and get guarantees and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think all these like the amount of like Lime, as much as we joke about it now, like LimeWire and Napster, shit like that. Like I think that played a mental toll from going like we're the rock stars to like you're getting like pennies for this stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like that's a big cultural shift that like really fucks up their heads. Look at it was the idiot from fucking like Trapped when he was
Oh
going off.
yeah.
Yeah, he was going off on like in 2020 with his like bullshit. And it's just
Yeah. I
like
forget his name, but yeah.
Chris,
I
I
mean,
think it was. But
Chris.
it's another one. It's like you're right in that area, so it's like,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
he,
that song hit like 2002, 2003.
and it's like, oh, we're still making money and stuff. We're on Pandora, and it's like, yeah, like the recommendations, like how much are you honestly making on that? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Probably more than I am, so I can't really say that much. But
Yeah.
maybe one day I'll sing on songs and we'll actually make money.
One day. Hey, you know what? When this podcast drops and you are introduced to my 5 listeners, better watch it, buddy.
Yeah, but nobody is
Streams,
the asshole who's waiting.
streams through the roof. You're gonna be getting booked everywhere. Just wait. My 5 listeners. Just wait. Well, dude, I mean, it was really a pleasure talking to you. I've known of you. I've seen you in passing. I played your music on the radio when I had a show on the radio. But we never talked like this. So it was good to kind of hang out and get to know you a little better.
Only time, but it was off of any PA scene. This was like few years back. I want to say like 2018. But you weren't one of the main interviewer. It was mostly Rich.
Mm-hmm.
It was for one of those. It was me and our old guitar player. I remember we drove down to Wilkes-Barre. I think that was the only one other time I met you besides in passing. But it was still more. I just remember because I remember I had empty stomach and we were taste testing these beers.
Dude, I don't remember that. That's crazy.
I have a weird memory. Like,
usually I do too.
Wifey will just come in and be like, yo, did you do this? And I'll be like, I have no idea you even mentioned that. But I'll remember that, like, my old bass player, we went to elementary school together, and it was towards the springtime in first grade, and he fell off this rocky hill that we had, and he had blood on the back of his head, and I told him about it, and he didn't want to tell the teacher, but I told the teacher, and he needed stitches. Verbatim. Weird.
No, man, I'll have to go back and look at that because
band stuff's another one. I'm real weird with band stuff. Like Mike, our guitar player, he'll be like, Eric, what about this? And I'll be like, oh yeah, we played with this band in Bayshore, New York on September 9th in 2014. And like, yeah, I should pencil it in, like actually like put like a band journal or something like that, just like a collection of my memories, a memoir.
There you go. Add it to your list of things to do.
Yes, the ever-growing list. I have the friggin' like 9 different notepads on my phone.
Yeah.
Well, that's I was telling wifey actually after my message you last night, I was telling her this morning, I'm like, I really might need you to be like a secretary for me and help me keep my ass in order, because I stretch myself too far thin. But
I think you even picked Monday.
Yeah, probably. Even more than likely, yeah. Because we have a fill and bass player that we practice with on Tuesdays, and then Wednesdays are day to write the new stuff and plan and whatever, and then Friday and Saturday usually, and Sundays are usually play days. So
yeah, sure, of course. I get it, man. Well, thanks for taking the time tonight. I do appreciate it. I'll have to go back in time and look at the interview that we did with NAPAC. I don't remember that year was like I started with Rich. I started with Rich in 2017, but like if it was like in 2018, I was in and out because my son was born in late 2017, so I was like there but not there, and when I was there, my brain wasn't there, so a lot going on there. But
the dad brain, which going back to Limp Bizkit, their new album is like so good.
Yeah.
Still sucks. Sounds like it came right out of mid 2000s. Like so it didn't miss a skip and all. Another start to finish album. I think it's really good.
But Traverse the Abyss on all the streaming platforms. New CD out. Is that also the June 17th?
Yep.
That's out the 17th, along with their show at the V-Spot in Scranton. And thank you to all the fans and listeners who took the time to take their shot and ask Eric questions. That's brought to you by the V-Spot in Scranton as well. Dude, good luck with the Elite 8, and I hope when I put this out next week, I hope that I'm able to say and winners of like
any PA strong, baby.
Yeah. So
Pennsylvania.
But yeah, best of luck with the new album. Best of luck with the shows this year, and hopefully I'll see you.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. You got it.
Have a good one.
All right. See you.